What's up, YouTube? This is Bystander X79 and I'm coming to you today with my newest deck profile on vampires. That's right, Dark Savior set has released a whole new set of vampire cards into the game. They introduced a brand new mechanic by using your life points to activate their effects. So there's a cost mechanic, but the mechanic actually balances out with some of the new support cards they also got on Dark Saviors as well. So we'll get into that when the time comes. I can tell you this right now, I am actually loving what this deck can do. It can put some monsters on the board, it can help build into the extra deck for your links, and with the tech that I included into it, it can make things a little hard for your opponent. That's the part I'm a little bit more proud about. But let's just get right over onto this because we are going to get right into it. Alright, get myself a little organized. Alright, so first and foremost, we are going to run 2 copies of Gozuki. Gozuki is basically a monster version of Foolish Burial, because once per turn you can actually send a zombie type monster from your deck right to your graveyard and load it up, which is completely and totally awesome. Alright. You could also turn around and banish 1 zombie type monster from your graveyard, except for Gozuki, and special summon 1 zombie type monster from your hand. So this is actually a pretty cool monster. It's got some very good utility in the deck. It's a Foolish Burial. It also has a Mizuki style effect, so they can special summon from the hand, which is pretty epic. Get your big monsters onto the field real fast. And then of course you have the OG Mizuki. Get the guy in the graveyard, banish him from the graveyard, special summon a zombie type monster from the graveyard. He's pretty much standard in your zombie decks. Alright. Next up, the first vampire card I'm going to show you is going to be Shadow Vampire. He's a level 5. Cool thing about Shadow Vampire is that whenever he's normal summon, he can special summon another vampire from your deck right to your field. So he's a +1. Getting this guy up in the field, to get another monster in the field, very important, especially with the way our game has evolved. Helps build your field. You can build into Xyz's plays. You can build into your links. The only issue is that only the special summon monster can attack per turn, but you know what, it's not going to be that much of an issue. Of course, in any zombie deck, you got to turn around and do Uni-Zombie. Uni-Zombie can dump 2 cards into the graveyard real fast during his turn by targeting other monsters to increase their levels. And it's a tuner, so it makes things. And now we're going to get to some of the new cards right here. First one I'm showing you is Vampire Familiar. Vampire Familiar, cool thing about it is that when it's in the graveyard, you can actually turn around and pitch a vampire card from your hand to your graveyard to special summon this guy out to the field. And whenever this guy is special summoned, you can pay 500 life points, and you can actually search yourself a vampire monster from your deck to your hand. Very awesome. Getting this guy in the field can help you fill up your hand and get what you need going. Alright. Of course, the next one I'm also including is Vampire Fraulein, or Fraulein. I like her at 2, basically because she's kind of like a hand trap. Basically, whenever one of your zombie type monsters, or actually whenever a monster attacks, you can actually whenever a monster attacks, doesn't have to be yours, excuse me, you can special summon her from your hand right to the field. And the cool thing about her is that she also has a quick effect that allows you to pay life points to bump up a vampire type monster during damage calculation. I find her very useful, primarily because of her special summoning and because of that attack boost bump that you can get, and just makes your vampires big enough to take out whatever your opponent has in the field. One more thing is that whenever she destroys a monster by battle, you can actually take control of that monster. And since it's in the graveyard, you can actually just take that monster. During the end phase. Alright. Vampire Grimson is my next card. I like running him at 1. He's actually pretty cool, primarily because he can actually protect your other zombie type monsters on the field. You just gotta pay life points to cover all of them, to protect all of them. Yeah, that's the only downside, but he's good to have for protection. And of course, we have Vampire Retainer. He's the other small level monster. Again, he's just like Familiar. While he's in the graveyard, pitch a vampire monster from your hand to your graveyard to special summon them. Whenever you're special summoned, pay 500 life points. You can search off any vampire spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Alright. And then of course we have Vampire Scarlet Scourge. Awesome with this guys because you can actually just turn around, pay 1,000 life points to get a what was this? Target 1 vampire monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Okay. But it can't attack, so that's a bit of a downside, but you can always go into link plays with it. You can only use that effect once per turn, and at the end phase, if this card destroyed a monster by battle, special summon it to your side of the field, which is pretty cool. Love how this deck works. Just taking your monsters that it pops and just bringing them back onto your field. Use them for link fodder. Alright, onto the spells, like we always do. Alright, I am running 2 copies of Book of Life. Book of Life is actually pretty cool in this deck since all the monsters are zombie type monsters. You're going to get the most out of this card. It's basically a monster reborn for zombie type monsters. Bring it back onto your field, and you can actually banish stuff out of your opponent's graveyard, which is a great plus here. Alright, of course you have Foolish Burial. You gotta run Foolish Burial in this deck. Any zombie deck has to have Foolish Burial. Of course, I am running Monster Reborn. Because, hey, it's a combo extender, and it just gets any monster back from either player's grave. I'm running 1 for 1 because this actually can turn around and pitch a monster from your hand to get out Familiar. And since Familiar is special summon, you can use it to get a vampire monster into your hand and pretty much tribute summon off of that. And if you pitch, say, Retainer from it, you can actually just turn around and even extend even further by taking that monster you searched, put it into the graveyard, bring it out Retainer, searching out the spells, and it just gets even better to damage your deck. I'm running 3 Terraforming, and you're going to see this field spell I run in this because it allows you to make full use of one particular card in this deck. So you got to see your field spell, and of course I have 2 copies of Vampire's Desire. This is actually a very interesting card. It has 2 effects. First effect is that it can target any monster you have in the field, so it doesn't have to be a vampire or a zombie. And you get to send a vampire monster from your deck to your graveyard. So effectively, you're loading up your graveyard. Another cool thing about it is that, and that monster is basically gains the level or becomes that level of the monster you sent to the graveyard, which is interesting. I'm not going to say that. Lie about that. And all the cool thing is that it can also turn around and bring back a vampire monster from your graveyard. So it's effectively an archetype monster reborn, which is actually pretty cool. Alright. Then you have the 3 copies of the continuous spell Vampire's Domain. This card is actually cool because it gives you 2 normal summons per turn, which is what this deck needs. And not only that, but whenever you inflict battle damage, you gain life points equal to the battle damage you inflict. So you can keep fueling your monster effects. Kind of wish Cosmos had a card like that. And of course the field spell I'm running is this card. Zombie World. Zombie World prevents either player from tributing monsters to tribute summoning monsters, but except when they tribute summon zombie type monsters, which can actually ruin a whole lot of plays, if you ask me. And not only that, But it also allows you to make full use out of Vampire Sucker's effect, because then you can utilize your opponents. Since it turns every monster on both sides of the field and graveyard into zombies, you can utilize Vampire Sucker's effect even better, because you can distribute off your opponents' now zombie type monsters to bring out your bigger vampires. Little sneaky little tech there, but I actually like how it works. Alright, traps. I won 3 copies of Vampire Awakening. Now this card is kind of like Dynamist Charge, where a special summons a vampire right from your deck, but it's destroyed at the end of the turn. And nowadays in the game, it's getting a monster out of your deck onto the field can actually be a big boon, especially if you're trying to build into a bigger link. That's why I like to run her at 3. And of course I have 2 copies of Vampire Domination. Primary reason why I like Domination is it's a counter trap. It can negate spell, trap, or monster effects, and then it destroys a card. And if the card is destroyed with a monster, you gain life points equal to that monster's original attack points. Again, helping you refill your life points to utilize the new vampire's effects. Alright, so that's it for the main deck. On to the extra deck. Alright, I am running, since we have a lot of level 6s here, I'm running Beatrice and Dante the Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss. I think it's pretty self-explanatory why these cards are here. It's just a great way to turn around and get stuff onto the field and get stuff into the graveyard and ultimately get a big boss monster onto the field as well. Of course, we have tuners in there, and the only thing you really need right here is Side Frame Lord Omega. Place keep away with your opponent's cards from your opponent's hand, and if you leave it on the field and it hits standby phase, you get something back from your baddest zone, which is also very important. Of course, you have Crimson Knight Bram. Bram, basically, whenever it destroys a monster, yeah, you get that monster back. You get that monster onto your field. Again, more Link fodder, or even Xyz fodder, and even if it's destroyed on your next standby phase, it's going to come back on the field like any good vampire should. And of course, we also have Vampire Sheridan, which basically can allow you to take any opponent's monsters that you have control over, turn them into level 6s so you can actually use them for overlay units for this guy. He's actually pretty cool. Once per turn, you can just turn around and target. Well, yeah, it's basically like target one monster. Oh man, been playing this deck. Detach one material from this card. Opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. Or so you can send a monster to your graveyard, and then you can detach another material to get that monster back onto the field, onto your field. So, pretty interesting effects for Sheridan. Alright. Cool thing about this, and you have number 24, Dragulus Vampire Dragon. Basically, pitch a material, you can flip a monster that was special summoned from your opponent's extra deck into face down defense position. Of course, that's not going to affect links because they don't have defense, so they can't go into defense position. But almost anything else can be. If it's ever leaves the field, you can just special summon it back to your field face down the defense position, and if it's ever flipped up, send one card from the field to the graveyard. So it has a flip effect as well when it comes back. Of course, look, you're running level 6, you gotta turn around and have Utopia Beyond. This thing hits the field, it bombs out all your opponent's attacks, so it's just easy ways to get through your opponents. And with Vampire Domain up, you're basically going to be refilling your life points really fast then. Alright, so that's it for the Xyz. We're going to go for the links. I do run a Link Kuriboh in this deck. Familiar gets on the field, you can link it off, and you can actually have some defense. So it actually does open up some pretty good plays with this, just having him around. Of course, you saw this when I was doing my intro. 2 copies of Vampire Sucker. Awesome card. Allows you to utilize. It basically allows you to utilize any of your opponent's zombie type monsters for tribute summons for your own. So it's basically non-targeting available tribute fodder. Awesome. And then of course, if it destroys then of course it destroys a monster and sits in a graveyard. You can bring it back. You can bring it back to your field with, or you can actually turn around and it doesn't destroy monsters. Whenever you can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, bring it back to your field as a zombie type monster, which is actually pretty cool. Of course, you run Decode Talker. Primary reason why you run Decode Talker is because Summon Sorceress is not tournament legal yet. Great length rate. Can power boost itself. And defend itself with stuff that's pointing to. Another length rate we have here is Nightmare Unicorn. Pitch stuff to the graveyard. Pretty much just to bounce stuff off the field. And of course you have Borlo Dragon, can't be targeted, can bring stuff onto your side of the field, which is what this deck is all about now. And of course you also have Saruja, making Saruja with 4 things can just get you to fix your hand. The extra special summon does help a lot out in this deck, so you really want to be aiming for that more than the draw. But if you can pull off the draw, more power to you. Alright, so with that being said, guys, this is my Vampire deck profile for the May 2018 format. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on my channel, hit that subscribe button. Ring the notification bell to be alerted whenever I throw up new videos. And guys, I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace out.